With a Kaibo juice gang ready to roll. Grab your paddles, let the good times flow. From the great white north to the wild unknown, we take the best canoe trips, make memories we own. Under the stars by the campfire light, we sing our songs and we laugh all night. With our trusty canoes, we explore the land. Every river, every lake, with the Kaibo juice gang. So grab a paddle and join us on the ride, singing songs side by side. Navigate the waters, laugh and cheer. In the great outdoors, Kaibo juice gang is here.
Hi, and welcome back to Kaibo Juice, the show where we talk about all things backcountry. Today's an interesting one because we're about to plan our trip. We're going on a big trip this year. We're going to Biscoe Tasting, Ontario on the Bud car, which leaves out of Sudbury and travels all the way to White River. It allows you to actually let yourself off anywhere that you give the coordinates on the GPS to the conductor. He will let you off anywhere along the tracks along the way. We've been looking forward to this one for quite some time. And one of the things that we do when we're doing a trip like this is several weeks of preparing and packing. And a lot of our guys have asked us, what is it that I should be bringing? Of course, we have a supply barrel that has all the gear in it, like stoves and spatulas and forks for the whole community. But each person has to have their own personal gear. And the number one question is, what should I be bringing as far as what should I be packing? Joining me today again are Ron and Adam, two of my canoe trip regulars. And I guess the number one question is, what do I need to bring if I'm going on a trip where I don't have to bring all the supplies?
Okay, but the question is, how long are you going for? Because a 3-day trip is different than a 7-day trip. Now we're going for 8 days, but
We're actually going 9 days, but let's say it's a week long. It's probably pretty much the same.
9 days is you leave on a Friday night, you get back on Sunday of the following week. That gives you a 9-day trip.
Right. I don't like coming back on Sunday. We used to come back on Sunday. I much prefer coming back Saturday night for the sole reason that it gives me Sunday to actually sleep in, because you need your sleep after a trip like that. And it gives me an entire day to unpack my gear, air things out, because we all know that there's numerous trips where we start off with a couple of days of rain and everything is soaked, or we come back where everything is soaked. We can get into tips as far as how to dry out everything afterwards.
Yeah, but coming back on a Saturday, if you're working, if you want to maximize your vacation, I've always liked coming back on a Sunday, then spending the next 4 or 5 days unpacking, because I don't care. Someone with OCD that needs everything put away and cleaned up right away. Not mentioning
I just don't want mildew. I don't want mildew in anything.
Dump out all your clothes on the laundry floor and just let it air out until you get around to it.
I actually turn on a dehumidifier before I actually my clothes go right into the washing machine. This is afterwards. Let's talk about what we pack when we're going on a trip. And again, not the supplies. Keep in mind again that we are not professionals. This is just a list of what we bring on our trips. It's been working out for us for over 20 years. So number one thing is that I bring 2 dry bags. I said this in one of the other shows, I bring a 30-liter dry bag for all my clothes, and I bring a 20-liter dry bag for all my sleeping gear, my mattress, my headlamp, my sleeping bag, everything that I'm going to need at night. And I think that if you pack more than that for a week-long trip, you're overpacking.
Sure. The problem is, so we're going, it's quite far north, and we're going in August. It can snow.
It doesn't snow in August. It never snows in August. It gets to, like, sometimes we've had in the single digits
North of
Celsius.
Superior, it'll snow
North of Superior,
in
sure.
August. I've had snow in August when I was working up there, so it does happen.
I've
But
seen snow in July in Banff, Alberta,
but you have to prepare for 10 degrees.
right.
That's
We've had
Celsius.
lower. We've had 5 degrees in August where
Okay.
we've gone.
So when you're talking about a 30-liter bag, when you're putting in a fleece or a puffer jacket and a wool jacket just for warmth, it can get a bit, okay, do I bring that or two pairs of underwear or 4 pair of underwear?
For a week-long trip, you only bring 4 pairs of underwear?
Just wash them.
No, I like a pair of underwear for every single day and a pair of socks for every single day.
Now, socks, I agree with you because your feet can get terribly damp and moldy.
Right.
So you do want a fresh pair of socks for every day.
All right, so let's start with that. For socks, fleece, not cotton. Cotton is rotten. That's always I bring cotton tennis socks, like the ones that are low cut, kind of like the ones I'm wearing right now. But I will usually I like fleece, I like wool, I like
Polyester is basically what most people have, which is fine. I don't like wearing polyester socks in general. I like natural fibers. But when you're going camping,
you don't find you sweat more in the polyester socks?
no.
Really?
No.
All right. Let's start with the basics. So I wear a fanny pack. I always have a fanny pack with everything that I want on me. So in that, I usually keep my compass, I keep my whistle. When we get to the trip, I put that around my neck. I've also got my bicycle gloves in my cargo pants. And the bicycle gloves, I would say, is the first thing that is on the list, besides the socks, for the sole reason that when I'm paddling long distances, I want a pair of bicycle gloves.
Because, again, being a weekend warrior, you do get blisters.
For sure.
If you're doing it all the time, you get calluses and you don't need gloves. But again, I always wear them, and everyone should, unless you have, workman's hands.
Right.
All calloused up.
You don't wear bicycle gloves, though, do you? Yeah, you wear bicycle gloves. You've always worn the bicycle gloves. And have you not found that they're a savior when you're on the trips?
Yeah, I get calluses quite easily. So, I get blisters quite easily. So, bicycle gloves are a necessity on a trip.
I found I get blisters on my ring finger sometimes just from when I'm even above the bicycle glove a little bit, depending on how I'm gripping the paddle, if my hands are wet. I find the bottom one always gets wet anyways. We're always hanging up our gloves on the clothesline when we get to a site. All right. Next item is a hat. Everyone's got to have a hat. I wear a baseball cap or a tilly. You?
I wear a nerdy cabbage hat, full rim.
All right. And you have the tilly hat as well, correct?
No, I've just been wearing baseball caps recently.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. You can see I like baseball caps. Next is the hiking shoes. We covered this a little bit on the second show. I always like everything with Gore-Tex, as lightweight as I can get. My preference is North Face always.
Yeah, most people start with a heavy pair of hiking shoes. They figure they're portaging, they need a strong, thick, but
I used to bring Greb Kodiak when I first started.
again,
Worst shoes ever for a trip.
back when I was a young man, they didn't have the synthetics, the material that they did. So you did need a really medium weight hiking boot, 3/4 length, just
Yeah, they're
because
heavy.
yeah, they were very heavy.
Now with the Merrells, with the North Face,
The
with the
technology, it's, you buy a good pair.
right. But the thing is that, as I said on the other show, on the last show, episode 2, I don't wear my hiking shoes for the portaging. That's where I wear my water shoes. So that would be the next item that I have. And the water shoes, I always put on a tether and I just carabiner it to my bag.
It all depends on the portage. If we've done the kilometer portages, you're wearing your hiking shoes. If you're doing like a 50-meter, 100-meter, then you don't really need it.
I'm still
depending
wearing
on
the
what
water
you're doing.
shoes when I do. I always buy a water shoe with a good tread on it. Always.
Like
That way I'm in and out of the canoe. I'm walking into the water. We're walking through swamps. I don't have to worry about my hikers getting... didn't you lose a hiker on a trip? No. You did lose a hiker on a
Of
trip.
course,
tell the story. Tell the story.
not much of a hiker. I fell into the water. The current grabbed the hiker and my hiker.
And then he was wearing I think he was wearing like water shoes or Crocs or whatever on the last.
Like tall Ron, do you mind going in and fetching my? Oh, there it goes.
We had
it too far.
We had one trip where we were like, we discussed this also, where we were walking across bogs and I was sinking up to my knees in the swamp. And there was one moment where I had to reach down to my shoulder to get my hiker out of the mud that sucked it off, which is why I always buy hikers that have the second hole in it to tie for the ankle support. I'm always looking for the second hole when I buy a pair of shoes.
I think
The second hole at the top.
Agreed.
You know what I'm talking about? Where you tie the bow?
Like key for anybody planning a trip is to have to spend a little bit extra, ask the questions when you go to the store, get a good pair of hiking shoes that fit the trip that you're going to. Very, very important. If you are going to do a long portage, you absolutely need to have ankle support and a very comfortable, because you're going to be carrying 100 pounds, 120 pounds in some cases.
60 to 80. No one carries 100 pounds.
Well, you do. You put a pack
I do,
on
but
it.
Yeah, you put a pack in the canoe. So
I'm special.
Right.
I'm special. I don't let other people carry more than like 50 to 60. So
I will
40
not
to
carry
60
a pack
pounds.
and the canoe if I can help it. I would rather just go back again and get the
Agreed.
pack.
But circling back to like what type of shoes you get, Ronnie, you always mention that
Gore-Tex.
Gore-Tex.
Hydroseal, anything that has the water repellent,
Agreed, but my
resistant.
point is that you can either go to a cheaper store and get a cheaper pair of shoes and save some money, and have to replace them or not enjoy your trip because you've had a twisted ankle, let's say, on the first couple of days. Or you can spend a little bit more money, ask the right questions, and get a proper pair of hiking shoes for a trip. You're going backcountry, Ron, and you don't want to have an accident on your first day in and be a liability to the rest of the crew.
I feel like I get at least 10 years out of my hiking shoes before the treads start to go on them and I have to replace them. Usually I replace them just because the treads are going. And if you pay $250 for shoes, you're talking $25 a year for your trips.
Okay, so that's a great question. So like if you were to go out and get yourself a first pair of hiking shoes for a canoe trip, what kind of price range are you looking at so that you have an idea as to what is a quality pair of shoes that you should be looking at?
I'd say anywhere between 150 and 250. Would you agree with that?
Being the cheap, I'll always buy last year's model.
Oh, so do I.
It's just sort of like you can spend a lot, but
I'm always going to the clearance section and seeing what's on there. And
Yes.
or like you and we were in Vegas. We picked up North Face shoes for $20. That's never going to happen again. But the shoes that I paid $200 for here in Toronto, I actually...
No, but that's a shoe going on sale. I don't think over the course of a year or so, shoe technology changes that much with a hiker. It could. But what you're looking at is buying your shoe off season and saving some money. And that can be in one of our discussions about trip hints and tips on how to make your very expensive canoe trip a bit more affordable.
I just find that when you're shopping for gear, you should always be looking for gear. Like even if I walk into a store and I'm going for something completely unrelated, I will still go check out the camping section.
So let's just assume that's the case, but someone is going away next weekend and they can't wait for a sale. Where do you buy your shoes? So the answer is simple. It's you go to Mountain Equipment Co-op,
Right.
REI,
Bass Pro,
Bass Pro,
Cabela's.
anyone that knows outdoor footwear.
Right. And get the lightest,
You know.
best tread. But as I said, it's got to have the water protection on it. All right. I'm going to point out also that a lot of these things are just nice to haves. You don't have to pack everything we suggest, but we're still going to go through the list. One pair of camp shoe sandals. I said once before that I used to bring flip-flops. I find them extremely dangerous. I love a pair of cheap Crocs. Even a dollar store knockoff pair for $3. Easiest thing to leave the tent. They pack down. They weigh nothing in my pack. I just pack them flat on top of my dry bags when it goes into my backpack. And
The only thing I have to say about Crocs or knockoffs, if the tread is gone, throw them out.
Right, get a new pair.
Yeah, because
they're $3.
most people just walk around the house and they have no treads on them, and all of a sudden they get outside and they just slip and slide.
Right, but I'm not using these for anything around. I'm
understand that.
only using these to leave the tent at night if I have to relieve myself in the middle of the night.
Yeah, but
It's the easiest thing to put on. What are you going to do? It's raining. You're going to put your hikers on, your socks back on at 4:00 in the morning. For me, it's the easiest thing is to just slide my feet into a pair of clogs.
Yeah, I bit the bullet this year and went to the Crocs store and bought myself an authentic pair of
Ooh, big
green
shot.
green Crocs without the little buttons that you can stick in the toes.
I got camouflage, which means I'll be looking for them half, but with like on the trip, I'll be searching like, where's my shoe? It's gonna like get knocked under my tent or something. I'm gonna be looking for it.
You get the bright orange.
Always.
Yeah.
Anything you buy, yellow, orange, chartreuse,
Never black,
pink,
green, or camouflage.
no yellow.
Ugh.
All right. Next thing on the list, rain gear. We've discussed this in the last show. I like a poncho. You go with the poncho.
No,
You like the rain suit.
I like the rain suit.
Right.
Pair of Gore-Tex pants and a rain jacket.
Right. Again, I like.
Shameless plug. Thermarest brought out a new product called the Honcho Poncho.
Yeah. Okay. Again, with your honcho poncho, that's
Poncho poncho is rain resistant. It's also a warm poncho. It has many different sizes that you can fit into.
you're gonna on every show. You're gonna mention this honcho poncho.
Honcho poncho, and
That's warm though. That was good for an October trip.
it
I
was
do agree with you.
fantastic for the October trip. And the benefit of a poncho over rain gear, like pants or rain jacket, is in the canoe it goes over your knees.
Yes, that's
So-
what I've said. I like the fact that it goes. It's also easy on and off. We hang it up under our tarp all the time. It dries off instantly. I love a poncho.
Are there good ponchos or in field? Like you're not going to be getting one of those
No.
made of the mist, plastic.
No, not a garbage bag poncho. You want like we just picked up some great ones at Bass Pro Shops for $10. Really good one. We used to get the thicker ones, the ones with the snaps along the side that you can also use as a ground sheet. Those were the best, but I can't find those anymore. All right, t-shirts. 9-day trip. How many t-shirts are you bringing?
I'm bringing 2 for sleeping in.
Right, that you only wear to bed. I do the same thing, and during the day I leave it open on my sleeping bag so that it airs out.
I only bring. I like shirts where I can put my glasses in, and
Yeah, you like button down, so safari style.
But I'll bring like 4 t-shirts, and as far as like this, I'll bring another 3 pair for because I figure I will be washing halfway through.
Right. So between the cottage and home, I have 6 t-shirt drawers, and I bring everything that's stained, has holes in
We don't
it.
care about that. How many do you bring?
For a 9-day trip, I'm probably going to bring 5 or 6. As you said, like 2 to sleep in and like 4 or 5 to wear around
And how many
the
other
site.
shirts?
That's it. And we'll talk about thicker shirts in a moment.
Okay.
But
Right, Adam?
I usually bring between 4 and 6, although I'm going to really try my best to lower the amount. And
it depends on how good your deodorant is.
Okay. So when I was younger,
good enough.
for one of my 9-day trips, I brought 2 shirts.
Shorts and pants. I don't bring shorts. I only bring convertible pants. I bring 2 pairs of those cargo pants that are nylon from Costco. They cost like $24. I pack one, I wear one. That means that I only have 1 pair of pants that I'm packing and I'm wearing one. And very rarely do I ever have to take the second pair of pants out. It's only if we're soaked that I ever have to take that second pair out.
Yeah, I've been in a situation where it rained for 7 of the 9 days.
Yeah, I was with. We've been with you in those
Yeah,
situations.
but this is before I had gear. So having a couple pairs of pants with your rain pants that are quick drying are always nice. So I'll actually bring 3 pairs of pants with me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, one of them is a convertible.
You pack 2, and you wear one.
Yep.
Okay.
And then another pair of shorts, and then a bathing suit.
Okay, for a bathing suit's on the list. I was going to cover that in a second. I don't bring a bathing suit anymore. I used to go naked until you started like taking pictures of me and showing it to your wife. I'm never doing that again. So now I bring a pair of boxer shorts.
Didn't know that story.
You didn't know that story?
And I did not.
I think it's only right for me to see pictures of your wife naked. She's seen pictures of me naked. It's only right. So I bring a pair of boxer shorts, like a light pair of boxer shorts. And I find that they dry pretty quickly compared to a bathing suit. A bathing suit's always like, I don't want to, the what do you call it? The boxer shorts, like a pair of men's boxer shorts, they dry within an hour.
Yeah, I overpacked my clothes for many trips, and this year I'm going to try my best to go much much lighter, and I'm bringing 2 pairs of pants. They're both, I don't wear shorts on the trips. I do bring a bathing suit, but I'm going to be bringing 2 of the Costco, shameless plug. Costco has weightlifting pants that are very lightweight, made from a material, synthetic
I think
material.
they're called walking pants. I bought a pair of those too. They're so comfortable, but they don't have pockets. That's the only thing I don't like about.
Mine have pockets, and they dry in.
No, I mean cargo pockets for me to put my gloves and my whistle.
They're long pants. They're light. They breathe, and they dry very, very quickly. And I don't think I need more. I've never used more than 2. Most often, I come back from camping with like clean clothes that I've never put on.
The one thing I love about the nylon pants is I've been absolutely soaked, and when we're hanging around the campfire at night and cooking and everything, they dry instantly on me, even while I'm wearing them.
100%.
Okay. Layers. One sweatshirt or a fleece.
Stop bringing them. Stop bringing the long underwears. I stopped.
Well, hold on. That depends on the trip. If we're talking a summer trip right now, I still bring a base layer. I'll still bring a base layer suit. Like those, you know what I'm talking about? Like the spandexy ones. That's almost like the body armor.
Well, as far as long johns, I'll bring my silk pair, which basically are really small, really light, but they're quite
Right. Mine too. Mine weighs nothing.
It can get cold.
Right. I agree. You should be bringing.
I've been bringing every year, and they come back unused, perfectly clean. Gonna not bring them anymore. I'm gonna risk it.
All right. So I bring my down jacket that folds into a ball that's about this big. It's almost like my down sleeping bag. It's just like one of those.
It's a puffer jacket.
And I bring a fleece. And I find that's all I really need. Sometimes I might bring one extra, like a button down, like a flannel button down. It depends on how much.
Mornings are chilly. Midnight by the fire, it could get a bit chilly.
Right.
Nice to have. Again, I'm not going to be bringing my puffy smush up jacket on this year's trip. I found that last year's October trip, I brought, and I'm going to go way back on this one. I brought my lumber jacket.
I remember you brought a lumber jacket.
My red plaid lumber jacket, and it's really a heavy shirt. And boy, that thing does wonders. It was the most fantastic piece of gear I have.
But around the campfire, you can also overheat. Usually I find we're getting cold when we're watching the stars. Like if we're watching the Perseid meteor showers, that's when I find I'm cold. And that's usually when I'm wearing a toque. And we discussed this in the last show. A toque is a winter snow hat for all the Americans that are watching this.
You need it too, because you have a little bit of extra, surface space on the top of your head.
Yeah, that's true. I'm bald. I always need to warm up.
Just so, cameraman, if you want to just give a zoom in on Ronnie's shirt here. Ronnie wears the Happy Camper t-shirt. He has the whole series of this guy.
The life is good.
Zoom. Doesn't the camper look exactly like Ronnie?
I'll give you a funny story. When it first came out, my buddy's walking through an airport in Fort Lauderdale, and he calls me and he goes, "Dude, I just saw you in cartoon form." And for years, my kids used to walk into the Life is Good stores and tell all the staff that their daddy was the mascot. It's kind of true, and it's funny how like everything that he's doing on the shirts is everything that I do. Right?
Are you still collecting royalties?
No, I don't get any royalties. All right. What's next? That's on the supply barrel. All right. Underwear is underwear. I like boxer shorts, like the what do you call it? Like the Joe boxer briefs. I find they're the most comfortable.
I think the key is that you have enough for at least one a day. If there's one item that you really can't do without, it's a clean pair of underwear.
Yeah, every day I change my underwear and socks. I bring for every day. I don't care if I overpack it. Sometimes I'll put it in a compression sack and I'll squeeze them down so that they're really small, and I'll bring it like that. All right. Bug spray.
Change the weight though. Still the same weight, even though they're compressed.
I understand that. I'm not worried about the weight. My pack is never more than 50 pounds ever, but I'm trying to get things as small as possible so I can get more in there. Bug spray.
Bug spray.
Bug spray. Ron and I are immune, so we don't use bug spray. It took a long time for us to get immune. And if I told the story of how I became immune, it's a horror story. But after that, I got eaten absolutely alive, and I've never had a problem. No itching, no swelling ever again. We bathe every day with carbolic soap. I like to do that a week before the trip and continue using it throughout the trip. It's about $3 a bar, $2 a bar. There's a company called Soapworks that makes a great biodegradable one. It's an antiseptic, it's a deodorant, and bugs don't like it. And they still supposedly use it in some Caribbean countries to wash up before surgery. So I remember when we first started bringing the carbolic soap, you hated it. You hated it. And now it's like a campsite tradition.
It's a campsite tradition.
What do I always call bug spray? Do you remember or no? Cottage cologne.
Yeah,
right?
Anyway, just that. But for bug spray,
Citronella based.
one thing that my wife uses all the time is Silverome. It's a mixture of like 15 different herbs. Silverome it's a generic mixture that you can buy from different brands. We buy the Ceroil brand just because.
Does it have DEET in it?
No,
Really?
It's
Remember the old
it's-
muscals? They had like 99% DEET or something
Not
ridiculous
that
like
much.
that. And that was like 0.003. Like how
But
many
here's-
people did?
Just to share with our listeners, there are things that work and things that really don't work. Ronnie Tall Ron here is more on the side of sort of the hippy dippy type of natural products, lemon
Yeah.
and essence
Organic,
of lavender, organic, but which is fine. I have tried almost everything. My wife bought me one year these little yellow buttons that you stick all over yourself. You look like you have the measles, and they don't work. Like, none of them.
None of
work.
the bracelets don't
The
work.
bracelets don't work.
Citronella. I like when we burn mosquito coils, and then it's
Burn
like you
mosquito
might as well
coils.
smoke a carton of cigarettes around the campfire. We're all inhaling it.
We've lit mosquito coils around a campfire like we think that's going to stop mosquitoes. They're laughing. Mosquitoes are laughing at
Yeah.
us. What I brought for this year's trip, because I am always one of the guys that gets bitten quite a lot, and I'm always trying to avoid getting bitten, is I was watching Dragon's Den, and another shameless plug, and there was a pitch for a product called Dragonfly Wingman, and it's just it's a large dragonfly, and it's on the end of a wire, and you clip it to your hat. And Ronnie's favorite, the no-see-ums. And for our southern listeners, a no-see-um is a very special variety of biting insect that you don't see. Doesn't really have a name, so they're just referred to as no-see-ums. Or if you're from Calgary, they're stable flies.
Oh, stable flies are horrible.
And they just go right for your ankles.
They're all over Southern Ontario now.
They're all. Thank you, Calgary.
They're like
for
little
your fire.
beetles. They
All
look
of
like a
your
house
stable
fly.
flies have now come to cottage country and camping country in Ontario.
Right. They're nasty. We saw them first in Temagami for the first time. No, it was Chiniguchi. And then somehow now we're seeing them everywhere. And they're the worst because there's nothing you could do about them. The bug sprays don't work. And when I said that Ron and I are immune, we still get bit. We just don't have any itching or swelling. There's no reaction.
We have one of our people that came on our trip, and his name is Andy, and he's a really good guy, and hasn't been on our trip for a few years now, but that's all right. You got to get married and have kids and start a family. You can't
I'd still
have
go on the
much
trip.
time for canoe trips. But you talk about a poor kid who just absolutely got savaged by these.
He's never been outside. It was.
We have pictures of his legs. Maybe Ronnie will post one so our listeners can see. Covered head to toe in mosquito bites.
I have a great picture of me with my leg beside his leg, and I don't have a single bite on me, and he looks like he has chicken pox when we came off a portage. Yeah, it was pretty funny.
Just let everybody know that canoe trips are a lot more pleasurable when you don't have hundreds of mosquito bites that you have to tend to. And certainly if someone has the afterbite pen or calamine,
I always put afterbite in the
it helps.
in the first aid kit.
It helps, right? You don't want to you have your trip ruined by excessive insect bites.
Right. All right. Next, I have a belt. I always wear a belt. I put a belt on all my pants. I even cut out those belts that come with the pants, and I replace it with a real leather belt. Always. I can hang stuff on it. Keeps my pants up. I could use it for something if I need to. I always wear a belt. I'll never go anywhere without one. No? You don't care? All right. I hang my knife on it. All right. Flashlight, headlamp. I like a headlamp.
I think we all wear headlamps now, and I think the first time we get the shopping list from you, Ronnie, to what to bring, you recommended it, and I went out and I got a good headlamp, and absolutely makes a difference. You need to use your hands when it's dark outside.
Yeah, even when you're eating. I won't buy anything that doesn't have red lights on it, because otherwise, what are we doing? We're always telling people that their lights are in our eyes, and the red light allows you to still see, and it doesn't project far. So I won't buy a headlamp without the red light feature, especially when we're eating dinner and we're all like having to see our plates and everything, because we usually eat in the dark since we're, getting to a campsite late, setting up
Is there a
late.
certain amount of brightness or how many lumens, I guess they measure it by, that you would
I can answer that
They
question.
keep getting brighter and brighter anyway.
I have everything from a 500, 1,000, 2,000 to 5,000.
The 5,000 is awesome for us when we're looking at the
It's
lake
great.
at night, and we've seen so many different
The
types of
battery lasts for 2 hours is totally useless.
So what would be your
Okay.
recommendation
The
for
1,000 lumens,
1,000 lumens?
that's maximum of 1,000 lumens is probably the optimal for battery life versus luminosity. I normally will keep it at, because it goes 1,000, 800, 600, 400, 200. So I'll keep it normally at about 600.
I usually keep mine on the lowest setting because it's so dark where we go. Even the lowest setting lights up the whole campsite.
Again, the 600, but 1,000 lumens is the maximum luminosity you should get for battery life versus seeing everything.
I just bought a 2-pack at Costco that had a rechargeable battery in it, and it also takes AAA batteries. So I'll bring one change of AAA batteries.
Why I have I have my Jackery that I take with. You can power it up.
I understand that, but what I do is I will bring one of those tiny little battery packs, the $10 battery packs, and I find that I only need to charge it on a trip twice, and the battery pack lasts the whole 9 days. And I only put the AAA in if I am like in the middle of charging and I haven't charged it. I usually plug it in when I'm sleeping, and then it's ready to go.
Yeah.
But I find I get a few days out of it before I need to charge it. So I only need to do like one charge or maximum 2 charges on a 9-day trip.
which is a great.
If you're going for a 3-day trip, you probably don't even need to, but you should still have the batteries just in case.
100%, which is a great lead-in. There's so many solar-powered batteries, and I know you have one, I have one, and I also have a Jackery, another shameless plug here for the Jackery battery, because I have to use a CPAP machine and I have to take it with on the trip along with solar panels. But with most of our technology that we do bring being able to be USB ported, is there a special type of a recharging?
I have a BioLite stove. I love my BioLite stove, and it charges while we're making dinner.
The BioLite stove is a very fun feature. We love your BioLite stove too.
Yeah, it's a fun toy.
BioLite stove, if you look it up, shameless plug, BioLite stove.
Stop your shameless plugging. Just plug it. We don't
Just plug it.
You don't have to say it's a shameless plug.
All right. Next. So I used to bring I sometimes will bring a flashlight too. I don't mind having a flashlight as a backup, because if I'm like searching through the barrel in the middle of the night for food or whatever, I always have the flashlight attached to my belt on a carabiner and a lanyard, and I'll just hang it in the barrel, and it gives me my hands free. And also that way I can hang it in the tent. I'm not talking a big clunker with the D batteries. I'm talking like a little tent light, the ones that they give away in promotional materials.
Ronnie, on the first couple of trips we went on, you brought with your Coleman lantern with
yeah.
Oh yeah.
We don't do that anymore.
Stop.
Once we brought the headlamps, we don't bring lanterns.
and those generate a tremendous amount of light, a tremendous amount of heat. I think one of our
moths were like all over us, like,
and then the frogs
attracted we've had some good times with lanterns where the frogs came to eat the moths that were dropping off the hot lantern.
You had a whole night show with
that was great. A knife. People make the mistake. I used to bring the big black-handled buck knife. I absolutely love my big black-handled buck knife. Most people will bring too large a knife. It's overkill. You're not killing bears hand-to-hand combat. You basically need a knife with a blade about 4 inches to cut rope.
Machete?
I think, or slice open like a vacuum sealed bag or something. That's all we need. What do we really? Half the time, everyone's asking me for my knife, which is also on a lanyard attached with a carabiner to my belt, and then it goes into my pocket. So I have it in my pocket, but it's connected to my belt loop.
Probably a good as time as any to ask you. About your silky Zubat, your special pruning saw that we bring with to prune.
That's supply barrel. Let's not go there right now. We're going to get to that in a minute.
Silky also makes a machete, which I happen to pick up, and I just wanted to know if it's all right if I brought my silky
No, don't bring your machete. We're not hunting zombies.
All
right.
Yeah.
When the zombie apocalypse comes, you can wear your machete on your hip the entire time, 24 hours, never take it off. On the canoe trip, where we hacking through bamboo Vietnamese forests, like, you don't need it. It's not needed. All right. A whistle. Everybody should have a whistle. I have it around my neck with my compass, always. I will not, throughout the day, I tuck it under my shirt. I always have a whistle and a compass on me. But the whistle, I think every single person should have a whistle in case they fall on a portage, they get hurt, they're lost, they need to signal. How many times have we gone to different campsites and had somebody whistle, 500 yards, like meters away, half a kilometer away to tell us to come over.
I always have my whistle, my knife attached to my life jacket.
Yes, you do.
Because that's where.
But then when you need a knife, you're like, where's my life jacket? That's why I always have it in my pocket attached to a lanyard to my belt loop. And I used to bring the big one, and when I would sit in my chair, it was always in the way. And it was heavy. You don't need it. But when we talk about whistles, don't bring one with a ball in it. You need a Fox 40.
Fox 40 whistle.
Fox 40. There's nothing else but a Fox 40. Is there any other type than a Fox 40?
There are louder ones out there that are ballless, but I don't know their name.
Yeah, exactly.
But they're available.
All right. Compass, I bring one. You bring one.
That's always in my life.
That's all we need. Yeah. A water bottle. There's tons of them on the market. I like a big heavy one. I like a big heavy one because what I do is I always have it on a lanyard. I take a lanyard and I put 2 carabiners.
One that weighs about 3 ounces.
That's too small. That's too small. Mine's like,
this is a liter.
Mine's triple the size of that. And the reason that I like the heavy one is because when I'm carrying I keep mine tethered in the canoe to a lanyard, always on a carabiners. And that way, when we're in the canoes, I never have to fish under my seat. I can just grab the lanyard and pull it up. And when I'm carrying the canoe, it acts as a counter lever and holds the back of the canoe down for me so that it keeps the nose up.
That. But I just find, so you're carrying a liter and a half, basically.
I have
it's a liter and a half.
Yeah, good. Then I only have to refill my bottle twice during the day. That's good.
But I will refill mine 4 times during the day because I know I'm going to be drinking.
No, now you're stopping and killing time.
Yeah.
I see guys that bring these little water bottles. We're going for sometimes we're out there tripping from, 11 in the morning until 6 at night. That's a lot of water when it's 30 degrees and you're in the sun.
Yeah, I upgraded to an all metal screw top water bottle, and you certainly don't want your water bottle plastic breaking on you while you're on a trip. It makes drinking a little bit more difficult.
Well, plastic is also, it heats up. We don't want to get microplastics in our bodies.
No. I have a metal, aluminum, whatever it is. What's it called? Thermoplast. There's all sorts now. There's all sorts. They even sell them at Costco.
Okay, next. We don't care.
All right, packs. We all have our own packs. We all have different packs. If you have your stuff in dry bags, it doesn't really matter if your pack is waterproof or not. I've always liked the dry bag packs, the canoe packs. You like the
So it's a Canadian made, it's called Ostrom. I've had it for the last 30 years now. It was expensive back then. They're still in business, but they no longer make them in Thunder Bay. But it's basically just a corduroy.
It's not corduroy.
No, nylon.
I don't know what it is, but it's a beast and it holds a lot with the drawstring and everything.
It's 120 liters, and
mine's 120 liters,
and the other is about 100 liters. But then I also have 2 waterproof bags. I had to get them when I was going down the Nahanni River because you can get.
Yeah, if you're doing a river. Yeah, but if you have your stuff in dry bags, it doesn't matter.
They recommended dry bags, so I put them in dry bags.
Right. All right. Everyone needs a sleeping bag. We covered that on the last show about where our preferences. I take a really small one, 0 degrees.
No, minus 15.
Minus 15?
Yeah.
That's crazy for a summer trip.
So I've always had it.
You're not baking hot at night?
Nope.
All right, teach their own. I'd be sleeping with that thing open.
I got to give a bit of credit here to Ronnie, who taught me how to regulate when you're sleeping in a tent in a sleeping bag, and you will overheat if you're not careful. And if you overheat, there are certain ways in which you can fix the situation. And one of the classic ways is one leg in, one leg out. And,
right.
You got to figure out your center, your equilibrium to keep your core temperature at a steady level.
A lot of them now have zippers at the bottom because so that you can unzip the bottom and stick your feet out to keep cool, which is kind of cool. I always like a mummy bag with a center zipper, and I just wear it open like a jacket. That's my preference. Everyone's got their own preferences. A sleeping pad, we've covered that before too. We all have our own preferences on those. We all like the blow up inflatable, self-inflating with the bags,
Schnozzle.
the schnozzle to blow it up.
Well, it's an
If you want to know what a
interesting.
schnozzle is, please watch episode 2.
So I have 1.5, 2, 3, and 4-inch sleeping pads.
How do you decide which one to bring?
As I've been getting older, they've been getting thicker.
I don't like them too thick.
But
I don't like the squeakiness. I think 3 inches is max for me. I think mine's 3 inches.
the one that the 4-inch one is a bit thick, but I just use that when I go out camping with the wife. My normal one that I have is just 3 inches, which is fine. But they're all blow up with insulation inside. For mine has an
Our rating is must.
R5, R4.
I will R3 minimum
Yeah.
for what we're doing. All right, a lighter. Everyone should have a lighter. I don't care if you don't smoke. You should have a lighter.
Well,
What? We are at 45 minutes? All right, a lighter.
Okay, just yeah.
I think everyone should have a lighter on them.
Absolutely.
Just, you never know. You get lost, you get separated, it's getting dark. You could you could make a signal fire with it. We've heard trips. I know a summer camp where they lost kids. Like, everyone should have a lighter on them. All right, sunglasses. I believe in polarized. Especially if you're in the front of the canoe, it's great for fishing too. Agreed?
Yep.
All right. Sunscreen, a must. At least one.
For me, yes, I get the rating as
30.
40,
I get 30 minimum.
50.
No, 50 is overkill. I want a 10.
I burn.
All right. Lip balm. You SPF? No?
Never use it.
I find my lips chapped all the time on trips at night by like the fourth day.
That's your problem. You have to have some more fish oil. So that's you're deficient.
We eat fish all every night.
Fish oil. You need your cod liver oil pills if you're.
All right, I bring a lip balm. All right, I get sore chapped lips from the sun and from just the
I take supplements. It's all right. It's cheaper.
All right. I like to bring a little. Okay, let's talk about a towel. I bring the small microfiber.
Yeah, they're the way to go nowadays.
Yeah, everyone. We used to bring like towels. We don't anymore. Yeah, even one microfiber I've brought just one single microfiber, like you would use like a chamois to wash the car. You know, the small ones that are only like
taller,
6x6. No, my new pack towel is not much bigger, but it fits in a little mesh bag. It's like that big.
I'm always amazed that there's the one tripper that brings a full bath sheet on a trip.
Right.
Brings it out, and we're with these microfiber towels.
Yeah. Travel size toothbrush and toothpaste. Enough said. I like my toothbrush, the ones that collapse, that fold into each other, keeps everything clean.
I'll bring my electric one with
me. All right. Soap we talked about, the biodegradable soap. All right, unscented deodorant. That's never going to happen unless you can find it. It's funny because I don't wear aluminum deodorant, but I will on a trip. Just because I find I can get 2-3 days out of it. If you don't bring the aluminum.
Yeah, it's alum. It's not actually aluminum.
It's alum?
It's alum.
Why does it say aluminum free? It says aluminum free on alum.
They haven't had aluminum in them. It's a derivative nowadays, but go.
Seriously?
Yeah.
All right. A comb, I don't have that problem. You bring a brush or a comb?
Never.
Great.
I wear a hat.
All right, camera. Everyone should have a camera.
So I used to bring my 35 millimeter. Actually, I had a Canon F1 back in the day. So I'd bring like a full, this was a very expensive camera back in the day with film. And now your little, my cell phone works just as fine.
Right. I don't want to bring my cell phone. I drop it in the lake, whatever. I actually will spend the money and buy a proper like point and shoot that could be used underwater. I don't worry about it in thunderstorms. I jump into the lake with it. I've taken underwater shots with it. And I always wear a GoPro Hero on my head.
Yeah.
That way I'm shooting video with the GoPro and I'm shooting pictures. And the nice thing is I find that sometimes you guys have it where I'm the only one taking pictures and then I don't end up in any of the pictures. Like, where's Ronnie on all these trips? You got to have at least 3 guys with cameras taking shots all the time. And I'll take shots all the time and I capture the trip quite well. Toilet paper. Everyone brings one roll. We start off with we have one of those dollar store dry bags. We have a little travel spade in it in case we have to dig a hole to go to the bathroom, and I usually start off with 2 rolls of toilet paper. I'll also throw a couple of glow sticks in there in case we have a kaibo on the site, or another name for it is a thunderbox. A lot of campsites and provincial parks have them, and I love hanging a glow stick over it if it's far off in the woods. Great great trick, because that way in the middle of the night you can find it if you need it. And I'll always crack it when it starts at dusk, when it starts getting dark. I also remember to always bring it out with me and throw it in the barrel when I'm finished with it. All right. A flask for booze, if you're bringing booze. We always save our empties from the Mickeys. Mickeys is what? For American listeners, what's a Mickey? What's the personal like plastic flask?
It's a 12 ouncer.
Is it 12 ounces?
Yeah. I don't know what they call it.
We call it a Mickey.
I know.
And then we bring, the nice thing about a flask, one of those plastic flasks, is we also make our instant milk in it.
Yeah.
In the mornings. What else am I missing here? I think that's it for personal items. The other thing that fishing licenses and fishing stuff. I bring a small travel tackle box.
You bring a mid-size.
No, it's about this big, and I catch
twice as big as mine. Therefore, it's a mid-size.
Yeah, but I catch twice as many fish as you.
That's your job.
That is my job, and I'm always responsible for.
Am I not always paddling?
Yes, well, it's a joint effort. It's a joint effort. It always is. One guy has to paddle. We catch a lot of fish. My luxury item is a lot more fishing lures than most. I have a small tackle box compared to some of my other tackle boxes, which is ranged like 15, 20 tackle boxes for different fish species. And then what we do is we bring collapsible fishing rods. And instead of bringing big travel cases, I will go to Home Depot. I will buy PVC pipe with the caps, and I will drill holes in it and put a carabiner on it. And my tube is about this big, this round, hangs on my pack. And my fishing rod is protected.
It's a 2.5-inch pipe, isn't it? Or is it a 3.5-inch pipe?
I think this year I bought 3 so we could bring 2 rods, but this is a huge fishing trip where we're going. But otherwise, I just bring the small one. Whatever fits your rod, and I cut it to size, and then I line the bottoms with styrofoam so that the rod's protected. I drill 2 holes in the cap. I put a rope through it so that you can pull the cap off, and Bob's your uncle. Do not bring valuables, cologne, or body spray. Do not make this mistake. Although I do like when one guy makes this mistake, because then he ends up as the smorgasbord and all the bugs stay away from us. That's great. Don't bring a full wallet. I like one of those travel, what are they like? Almost like a...
What do you even need a wallet for?
You need your fishing license, your driver's license, your health card.
That's it. That's not a wallet. That's like a Ziploc bag that you can just put things in so it doesn't...
I have one of those, like, the ones with the seals on it.
You know how heavy those things are? Just a little Ziploc bag. Put it into your fishing
Mine's
pack.
fully waterproof. That is it for personal supplies. All right, that is all that you need to bring if people are supplying all the supplies as far as your personal items. Join us on the next show. I hope this helps. Charlie, I hope you're watching this and paying attention. Do not bring any extra gear, please. Wait, before we end this show, name a couple of things that guys have brought where we go, why would you bring that? Do you remember that one time when one guy brought a full shovel to bring to dig a hole so that he could go to the bathroom? He pulled out a garden spade, like an actual, pulled it out of his pack.
Yeah, but then how about the drone?
The drone, you know what? If your drone is small, I say bring it. If you can get it in your bag, I say bring it. Why not? Yeah. It's a great feature it's part of the camera equipment. All right, that's it for today. We'll be back. Thank you very much for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out at kaibojuice@gmail.com. That's KYBOJUICE@gmail.com. See you next time.